For over a decade, the quiet stretch of Gilgo Beach on Long Island served as a burial ground. Between 2010 and 2011, the remains of multiple women were discovered along the coast, each wrapped in burlap, each placed with chilling precision. Despite years of investigation, the case stayed cold. No suspects, no arrests, just unanswered questions and a growing list of victims. Then, in July 2023, Rex Heuermann, a 59-year-old architect living just miles from the crime scenes, was arrested in connection with several of the murders. His arrest shocked everyone. To neighbors, he was an unremarkable man. But behind closed doors, investigators would uncover a disturbing double life. How this seemingly normal-looking man was involved in Gilgo Beach mystery. Welcome back to Prison Stories. In this video, we'll break down what case the police have built against Rex Heuermann and how he became the prime suspect in one of America's most haunting serial murder investigations. We'll also keep you updated on the current status of the trial and what lies ahead. Starting in 2010, police searching for a missing woman near Long Island's Gilgo Beach discovered 10 sets of human remains scattered along a long barrier island. The dead included 8 women, 1 man, and a young child. Authorities concluded it was unlikely that one person killed all of those victims. But several of the bodies, found relatively close together, wrapped in similar fashion, appear to be the likely work of a single serial killer. While the public believed the case had gone cold, police were quietly continuing the investigation behind the scenes. A new task force was formed in early 2022, and slowly, several pieces began fitting into place. One of the first breakthroughs came from an often overlooked detail: burner phones. Multiple victims have been contacted through prepaid, anonymous phones, used briefly, then discarded. But digital forensics had come a long way since 2010. Investigators began tracing location data, and a pattern emerged. The phones had pinged in areas tied to one man's daily routine, including Midtown Manhattan and Massapequa Park. Another clue came from a witness who recalled seeing a distinctive vehicle, a dark green Chevrolet Avalanche, near one of the crime scenes. That same make and model was registered to Rex Heuermann. Piece by piece, the burner phones and the car all pointed to the same man. But that was not enough to pin all killings on him. After all, Rex was everything opposite of a criminal profile, at least on the surface. On paper, he seemed like an unlikely suspect. A 59-year-old architect working in Manhattan, Heuermann ran his own firm and had clients that included city departments and big-name corporations. He lived in a modest house in Massapequa Park with his wife and children. To neighbors, he was quiet, even boring. The burner phone data and his car wasn't enough to make an arrest. They were circumstantial. The police needed more, something physical, something undeniable. So they placed Rex Heuermann under surveillance. For months, investigators watched him closely. They followed his movements, monitored his routines, and waited for him to slip up. They have some DNA evidence from the bodies found in Gilgo Beach. All they needed was his DNA. The undercover police officers were keeping an eye on him. They saw him throwing a pizza box in trash. This was their chance. They take the discarded box, and inside it was leftover pizza crust. A swab test proved what they have all been looking for. Heuermann's DNA matched one of the DNA found on one of the buried bodies. They clearly have a case against him now, but they wanted to be even more sure. So they decided to look at his internet search history. What they found was shocking. His searches revealed a disturbing obsession with violent sex, bondage, and deviant pornography, details that painted a darker picture than a friendly neighbor everyone knew. Not only that, he has been searching how to stay hidden. He had been also searching the families of his victims. With the DNA match in hand and a growing body of evidence, police moved quickly. On July 14th, 2023, Rex Heuermann was arrested. He looked surprised, but he didn't resist. The very next morning, investigators executed search warrants not only on his house, but also on 2 storage units registered under his name. It was an extensive search that lasted 12 days and uncovered a trove of shocking items, further deepening the case against him. The searches of Rex Heuermann's properties uncovered disturbing and incriminating evidence. Inside his home and storage units, investigators found weapons, tools, and items believed to be linked to the Gilgo Beach murders. Among these were burlap sacks similar to those used to wrap the victims, ropes, handcuffs, and various restraints. From hundreds of phone and electronic devices, they found he has been planning his moves and trying to be perfect in his so-called killing craft. They also found a document called DS, which authorities decipher as dump sites. Here he has marked the area for burying his victims. They also found a journal containing all the clippings of the case from magazines. So this was his souvenirs he has been keeping of his victims. Additionally, police discovered hundreds of photographs, some of which appear to show potential victims or scenes related to the crimes. The sheer volume and nature of the evidence painted a grim picture, supporting the theory that Heuermann was involved in the serial killings. These findings were critical in building the prosecution's case and would play a major role in the upcoming trial. After his arrest on July 14, 2023, Rex Heuermann was held without bail as an investigation, and legal proceedings moved forward. As of now, Heuermann remains in custody awaiting trial. As of now, Rex Heuermann has been charged of the murders of 7 women and is considered the prime suspect in at least 1 more. A key piece of evidence linking him to the crimes is DNA. Specifically, hair strands recovered from the victims and the burlap used to wrap their bodies. Forensic testing revealed that one of the hairs matched Heuermann's wife, while another was linked to his daughter. Prosecutors argue this strongly suggests that the victims had been in close proximity to Heuermann's family environment, possibly inside his home or vehicle. Although the wife and daughter are not considered suspects, their DNA is believed to have been transferred unintentionally, adding further weight to the theory that the killer was someone from their household. Heuermann's own DNA was also reportedly found on some evidence, but the defense is contesting the validity of the testing methods, arguing that the lab used cutting-edge techniques that haven't been broadly validated in court. Rex Heuermann continues to deny all charges, maintaining his innocence as the case moves through the pretrial phase. On May 28, 2025, the court held a Fry hearing to determine whether the nuclear DNA evidence collected from the crime scenes would be admissible at trial. The defense argued that the testing methods used by Astrea Labs are too new and not yet widely accepted in the forensic community, and therefore should not be allowed in court. Prosecutors, on the other hand, insist the science is sound and points directly to Heuermann, especially considering that hairs linked to his wife and daughter were found on or near several victims. Alongside the DNA dispute, the defense has also requested that each of the 7 murder cases be tried separately, claiming a combined trial would unfairly bias a jury. However, the prosecution is pushing back, arguing that the crimes follow a distinct and consistent pattern that strongly suggests they were committed by the same person and should be treated as a single, connected case. Rex Heuermann is currently being held without bail at the Riverhead Correctional Facility in Suffolk County. According to officials, he is under strict suicide watch, monitored closely as the legal process unfolds. With the DNA evidence under scrutiny and the court yet to decide whether the murder charges will be split into separate trials, the case remains in a critical phase. What began as a series of mysterious disappearances along Gilgo Beach has now unraveled into one of the most high-profile serial murder cases in recent memory. And as investigators, attorneys, and the families of the victims await justice. Thank you for watching Prison Stories. If you found this video informative, please like, share, and subscribe to Prison Stories. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update on this case or other true crime stories.